If you've ever looked into ancient remedies, you know that honey shows up pretty much everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
But there is a world of difference between, the standard supermarket squeeze bottle and the legendary product we're diving into today. We're talking about Yemeni Sidr Honey.
Often called liquid gold. And for good reason.
Exactly. It's been revered for millennia as a powerful medicament. So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to synthesize that traditional knowledge
Mm,
and contrast it with the incredibly strong scientific validation it is receiving right now.
it's a remarkable convergence, really.
Yeah.
You have tradition on one side and modern chemistry on the other. We're not just looking at some regional specialty.
Right.
The sources confirm Sidr Honey has this unique composition that delivers a broad spectrum of therapeutic uses. It touches nearly every major body system. It's a genuine superfood, and its journey from, ancient reverence to 21st century lab validation is just fascinating.
The origin story is absolutely key here, I think, because it explains the scarcity and, of course, the price point.
It does.
So before we get into the chemical composition, we really need to know exactly where this honey comes from and, what makes it so rare,
Well, Sidr honey is strictly what's called a monofloral honey.
meaning from one flower.
Exactly. It comes almost entirely from the nectar of a single plant, the cedar tree. Scientifically, it's known as Ziziphus spinochristi. And this is a hardy, ancient plant. It's native to very specific, often arid regions of Yemen and parts of the wider Middle East.
And what about the harvesting cycle? That's the part that really drives its premium status, isn't it?
It is. The cedar tree only yields its nectar once, maybe twice a year. And that's during a very, very limited seasonal window.
Wow.
So this short, intensive blooming period limits the production volume significantly. And on top of that, in places like Yemen, the collection methods are still intensely traditional,
So like no chemicals or anything?
free from chemicals, pesticides, or any of those large-scale industrialized processes. And this purity is directly linked to the medicinal qualities that all the sources highlight. The tradition really ensures the integrity of the product.
Okay, let's unpack this. When we buy a jar of, say, clover or orange blossom honey, we know it's sweet and maybe it has some trace nutrients. But why does Sidr honey's chemical makeup launch it into a completely different therapeutic category?
The difference is primarily one of nutritional density and complexity.
Okay.
Compared to common polyfloral honeys, Sidr honey consistently shows significantly higher concentrations of bioactive compounds. We're talking about an abundance of antioxidants, a wider spectrum of minerals, complex natural enzymes, and essential nutrients like B-complex vitamins, vitamin C, even some vitamin K.
So we need to focus on those heavy hitters, the antioxidants. That seems to be the core mechanism driving its strength, from cellular protection all the way to anti-inflammatory response.
Absolutely. It is a highly potent source of phenolic acids and flavonoids. These are plant-derived compounds that are just crucial for intercepting and neutralizing free radicals in the body,
The bad guys, basically.
the bad guys. In simple terms, these compounds fight oxidative stress. You can think of it like the internal rust that drives aging, inflammation, and is really the foundational cause of most chronic diseases.
I remember seeing one source that referenced the BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies Journal about this.
Yes.
What did that study specifically tell us about Sidr's antioxidant power compared to other honeys?
That was a really significant finding. It validated that Sidr honey exhibits significantly higher antioxidant activity compared to dozens of other globally recognized honey types.
So it's not just a little bit better.
No, this isn't just marginally better. The measured capacity to scavenge free radicals and support cellular health was demonstrably superior. And this directly confirms why it's not just a sweetener, but what we call a functional superfood. It's something that provides documented health benefits that go way beyond basic nutrition.
That distinction is so crucial for you to understand. This is an investment in health, not just a condiment choice. Moving on, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about its most famous role: fighting infections.
Mm-hmm.
In an era of growing antibiotic resistance, Sidr honey's role here seems, well, increasingly important.
Indeed. The medicinal heritage of honey, being used on battlefields and in ancient pharmacies, is now fully confirmed by modern microbiology. Its potent antibacterial and antimicrobial activity is attributed to, like, a triple threat mechanism.
Okay, can you break that mechanism down for us?
Sure. First, like all honeys, it has very low water content and a high sugar concentration.
Mhm.
This creates an osmotic effect that basically starves and kills bacteria.
Dehydrates them.
Exactly. Second, it contains natural hydrogen peroxide, which is a well-known antiseptic. But the third, and maybe the most crucial factor, is the presence of melanoxyl, or MGO.
MG.
Yes, especially its unique blend of MGO precursors. These compounds, they're produced when the bee enzymes interact with the nectar, and they create an environment that actively inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria and fungi, often by just disrupting their cell walls.
And the sources note its efficacy is impressive, even against really serious threats that, pharmaceutical antibiotics sometimes struggle with.
That is the most relevant insight. Research confirms its effectiveness against notorious antibiotic-resistant strains.
Like what?
We're talking about pathogens like methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus, aureus MRSA, and virulent strains of E. coli. For researchers looking for natural, potent alternatives to conventional chemical antibiotics, Sidr honey represents a really powerful therapeutic avenue.
So let's discuss the practical application for seasonal illness. If someone is dealing with a nagging winter cough or sinusitis, how does Sidr honey help?
Its benefits are twofold. Systemically, the antibacterial properties help combat the infection itself. But locally, its thick, high-viscosity nature is just highly soothing. When you consume it slowly, it physically coats the pharyngeal lining of the throat. This coating action reduces inflammation, and it suppresses the nerve endings that trigger that incessant coughing.
I remember seeing the comparison to a common drug in the source material.
Yes, some clinical observations have been strong enough to suggest that for cough relief, the physical and chemical action of Sidr honey may be as effective,
Wow.
and certainly more natural, than formulations containing the common synthetic cough suppressant ingredient, dextromethorphan.
That's a huge claim. Now, what about external uses? Wound healing is perhaps the original medicinal use of honey, going back centuries.
Its wound-healing properties are frankly remarkable. When you apply it topically, it creates this unique microenvironment. That osmotic effect we mentioned, drawing water, it helps pull fluid out of the damaged tissues and into the wound. This facilitates cleaning and promotes faster, healthier tissue regeneration.
And for burns or post-surgical care, it does double duty, right?
Precisely. It acts as a superb protective barrier, minimizing the risk of a secondary infection while keeping the area hydrated. Studies show it speeds recovery time and, because of its anti-inflammatory properties, often minimizes the potential for scarring. It's like a regenerative shield.
So if we shift focus from fighting infections to systemic upkeep, we can connect that high antioxidant profile to chronic disease prevention.
For sure. This functional food is active throughout the entire body.
Let's dive into cardiovascular health first. For the listener who's concerned with heart health, cholesterol, blood pressure, what specifically is Sidr honey doing?
It contributes significantly to a healthier circulatory system. While the effect is generally modest, studies do indicate it can help regulate blood pressure, which is a key factor in reducing cardiovascular risk.
And cholesterol.
More significantly, it has a documented positive effect on lipids. It helps reduce levels of the bad LDL cholesterol while simultaneously supporting an increase in the good HDL.
And the sources detailed the mechanism for improving blood flow itself, which ties back to those powerful antioxidants.
Correct. The rich phenolic and flavonoid compounds help improve what's called endothelial function. That's the health of the lining of your blood vessels.
Okay.
By reducing oxidative damage, they allow arteries to dilate more easily, which improves overall blood flow. This improved dilation, along with a mild anticoagulant effect, can help prevent the formation of blood clots, which, are the precursors to strokes and heart attacks. It's truly systemic vascular support.
That's pretty comprehensive. But when we talk about systemic protection, how broad is the reach? Does it protect the filtering organs we rely on every day, like the liver and kidneys?
It absolutely does. The protective effects extend far beyond the circulatory system. We saw findings, including those from King Saud University, which specifically detailed how Sidr honey actively protects the liver and kidneys from chemically induced damage and oxidative stress.
Which is huge, considering what we put them through.
Exactly. Given that these organs are constantly working to filter toxins, giving them robust antioxidant support is a critical benefit.
Okay, now onto the digestive tract, the center of so much of our overall health. Where does Sidr honey fit into achieving digestive harmony?
This is one of its most important functions. Sidr honey is a fantastic source of prebiotics.
Prebiotics, not probiotics.
Correct. It's not a probiotic, so it doesn't contain live bacteria. But it provides the complex sugars and fibers, the non-digestible components, that specifically feed and support the beneficial bacteria already living in your large intestine.
So it's basically fertilizer for your good gut biome.
Exactly. That's the perfect analogy. And this supportive role is central to a healthy gut microbiome, which in turn dictates everything from nutrient absorption efficiency to a massive component of your overall immune function. Furthermore, the honey itself contains natural enzymes like amylase and invertase. These enzymes help break down starches and sugars, smoothing out the whole digestive process.
Helping with things like bloating or...
Yeah, helping to alleviate common complaints like bloating, gastritis, and even mild constipation.
What about metabolic concerns, especially for those managing blood sugar? It is, after all, still a sugar.
That is the necessary caveat. It is not calorie or sugar-free.
Yeah.
However, it is low in fat, and compared to highly refined sugars, it is a superior alternative sweetener. For people with diabetes, the guidance is strict moderation, but the unique sugar profile, the ratio of fructose to glucose, is metabolized differently.
Okay.
Research suggests that when consumed in small, controlled amounts, it is less likely to cause those dramatic blood glucose spikes you get with refined sugar. It's even been tentatively linked to modest increases in insulin sensitivity.
Okay, we've covered disease prevention and organ upkeep. Now let's pivot to the aspects that enhance daily performance and overall vitality.
Starting with energy.
Right. Athletes often rely on quick sugar fixes, but Sidr Honey seems to offer something more nuanced than, say, a candy bar.
It does. The combination of fructose and glucose provides a dual-action energy release. Glucose offers that immediate, quick burst of energy you need for performance, while the fructose is metabolized more slowly in the liver. This leads to a sustained energy curve. It helps athletes and busy professionals maintain endurance and avoid that rapid spike and subsequent crash that's so typical of processed sugars.
And it seems to be deeply beneficial for the nervous system, too, extending right into sleep quality.
Yes. Historically, it's been used to treat nervous system issues, including migraines and symptoms of insomnia. And the key to the sleep benefit is a fascinating biochemical pathway. It involved insulin.
How does that work?
Consuming a small amount of Sidr honey before bed causes a slow, steady, manageable rise in insulin. This modest insulin spike assists in driving an amino acid called tryptophan into the brain.
The same stuff that's in turkey.
The very same. Once in the brain, tryptophan is the precursor to serotonin, which is then converted into melatonin, the primary hormone responsible for regulating our deep sleep cycles.
That is an incredible insight. It's a very passive, natural way to kind of nudge the body into proper sleep regulation, all through food chemistry. What about some of the less common but traditionally potent uses we uncovered?
The sources contain some strong data regarding reproductive health. Sidr honey is rich in amino acids that support robust endocrine function. It's been documented as beneficial for ovarian function, and in traditional contexts that are now supported by preliminary research, it may play a role in boosting fertility markers and even testosterone levels in both men and women.
And then there's the most profound area, which always requires careful context: cancer support.
Right, and we must be clear, this is not a standalone treatment.
Okay.
But research has identified significant anti-cancer properties. Studies indicate what's called anti-proliferative activity, meaning it can interfere with the rapid growth of cancer cells in various cancers, including bone, liver, breast, and pancreatic types. Furthermore, in observational studies with patients undergoing treatment, the addition of honey has been observed to help manage certain side effects, like maintaining healthy white blood cell counts, which often get depleted during chemotherapy.
Finally, let's wrap this section with skin health and anti-aging. It seems its high antioxidant and antibacterial profile makes it a natural for topical use as well.
Absolutely. Because it is highly antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, it is excellent for treating and preventing acne and blemishes. The antioxidants work to slow down the effects of external aging and its inherent humectant property.
Meaning it draws in moisture?
It draws moisture from the air, exactly. That makes it an exceptional moisturizer, promoting tissue health and giving a noticeable complexion boost. The same properties that accelerate deep wound healing also promote superficial tissue health.
So what does this all mean? We've traced Sidr Honey's benefits from fighting antibiotic-resistant superbugs to optimizing sleep cycles and protecting vital organs. This is a truly multi-system functional food.
It means Sidr honey's versatility and its density of nutrients, which has allowed it to transition so smoothly from an ancient traditional remedy to a substance with modern scientific validation, makes it perhaps the most potent functional food available today. Its range is just unparalleled. It covers everything from acute immune response to long-term chronic disease prevention.
So for you, the listener, who is now ready to incorporate this liquid gold into your diet, the crucial takeaway is that you need to be extremely vigilant about sourcing
Yes.
because not all Sidr Honey is created equal.
This is the essential consumer note. Because of its premium status and price, adulteration is common. You have to look for explicit quality assurance markers. For example, testing should show the absence of C4 sugars.
And what are C4 sugars and why does their presence indicate a problem?
C4 sugars are a metabolic pathway marker found in plants like cane sugar or corn syrup. Their presence in honey indicates that it has been fed to the bees or simply mixed with cheap, refined sweeteners. If you find C4 sugars, the product is adulterated and it lacks the purity needed for the full therapeutic benefit.
And the other term we need to define is the total activity rating, or TA.
Right. The TA rating is a standardized measurement of the overall antimicrobial potency. It combines the effects of hydrogen peroxide activity and the non-peroxide activity, like MgO.
So a higher number is better.
You want a high TA rating, often TA 20 plus OE, to ensure you are receiving the optimal therapeutic benefits, especially if you intend to use it for medicinal purposes like wound care or fighting internal infections. Look at that verification on the label.
This deep dive gives you the shortcut to being well-informed about a highly specialized natural product. And here's a final provocative thought for you to carry forward. Sidr Honey connects us directly to ancient medicinal traditions. If a single substance has been revered across cultures for millennia for properties like immune support, wound healing, cardiovascular benefits, all now validated by modern labs, what does that tell us about the knowledge we might be overlooking? Consider the profound impact of those prebiotics in Sidr Honey on your gut health and immune regulation.
It really forces us to reconsider the simple yet effective concept of food as medicine.